Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We are going to explore beautiful card making here with the Butterfly Brilliance bundle from Stampin' Up. It's great to be here. Thank you so much. Oh, look at you're already sharing. Yes, I will give away these cards. I hate to say when because I have been very tardy on some of that. But, you know, I had my good excuses over the last 2 weeks or so, but hopefully back into a more regular routine. Let me get this camera moved up a little bit. Oh, or maybe I need to move my chair down. I'm not sure which way we got to go here. Good morning. Oh, I just made a steaming cup of hot coffee. I hope you guys have some coffee too. We're going to make some really pretty cards, and card making is always more fun with coffee or a can of beer, depending on the time of day. It's good to be here. Yes, Marty, I have been really busy lately. I don't know, it's just one of those things. Well, I think it was because we were finishing up Celebration and then some family things that had come up. So just busy. So Marty is saying it's chilly in Florida. You know, it's really nice here. Of course, we consider, 20 degrees pretty nice. I actually think it's a little warmer than that today, but yeah. Good morning. Hello. Okay, well, guess what? I am doing a kit to go this month, and it features the Butterfly Brilliance bundle. Yay! It's such a pretty bundle from Stampin' Up, and I have all the information, all of it, all about the kit to go. You just have to go to my blog. Look, I can share it like this. Go to my blog, www.stampingtoshare.com, and you'll find all the info. I actually was going to hold up a little piece of paper that I had here, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. Anyway, that is where I am keeping all that information. And would love to share it with you. All of the people that get my kits do love getting my kits because I take a very careful approach to them and make sure that, I try to get them as perfect as possible for you. So it's great to be here. Thank you, everyone. Okay, well, you know what? Enough chit chat. I probably need to get rolling here with our project. So again, let me remind you of what we're making. The Butterfly Brilliance bundle is an early release from our upcoming annual catalog. So demonstrators were able to get it an entire month early. And yeah, we've been playing. So that's why I was able to make up a kit to go for the month of March. And we're going to make these 2 cards today. We're also going to be using the mini Stampin' Cut emboss machine. This one is so fun because it's, it's like so little. It sits on your desk and it doesn't take up very much room. And I can vouch for the fact that it's very travel friendly. I can literally throw it in my purse and Steve doesn't even know I have it with me. So I can take it out of town if I want to. I love it. It's very portable. So we'll be using that. Of course, you can't use it with big embossing folders or big dies, but it's perfect. We're actually going to be using the largest die in this set today, and it does fit. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. The largest die in the set is this gigantic thing here. So no, that would not work with the mini Stampin' Cut emboss machine. However, this one, the individual butterfly die, this one right here does fit and does work in the mini. So we're going to use that today. All right. So let me flip the camera down and I'll show you all the different things on my desk that we're using to put these cards together. Okay, as I mentioned, it is the bundle. So we have the Butterfly Brilliance bundle. Now, if you are considering becoming a demonstrator with Stampin' Up, this afternoon, I will be sharing a customer newsletter with you with a link to all of the part numbers related to this, because possibly if you'd like to be a demonstrator, this is something you can put into your starter kit. And you don't have to be a demonstrator to be demoing like I do. You can be a demonstrator like most of my downline and just come in to get your products at cost. It's a great deal, and it's really great that we can get these products and put them into our starter kits, because you get to pick what you want in your starter kit. We are also going to be using my favorite punch. This is the tailored tag punch. I use it so often. I know you have seen it many times. And you know what? I tried other punches. I tried actually to find a punch that was not this one that would look just as pretty. And I couldn't do it because I love this one and I think it looks so awesome. It's also super easy to layer. So I'll share with you how to do that as well. Because the stamps that we're using does not have sentiments, and I did want sentiments on this card, and also even in my kit to go, I am using sentiments, and I picked the Happy Thoughts stamp set as part of the, offerings that I'm doing on my kit to go. So that this can be an add-on for you if you want it to be. Again, you'll have to contact me to get more information about that. But if you're on my customer newsletter, then you'll see all of that. We're going to be using the matte black dots today, which great set of embellishments. And they were on back order for so long. My customers had to wait so long to get their customer gift of the month, but they've all got them now. And we are also using, and this is going to be included in the kit, this particular ribbon along with some rhinestones. And this is the sparkly black ribbon. It's our sparkly organdy ribbon. Love it. And of course the designer series paper. Now this designer series paper is not actually carrying over into the new catalog. So the only time that you can get this paper is right now during this early release of the bundle. And the paper is so amazing. And the reason it's so amazing is, one of the reasons, not just because it's pretty, but you can take this great big die, run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and get out all of these cutouts, which you see up here. Another thing I wanted to share with you, and the reason I put this paper out here today is because I wanted to share with you, and I did this actually in my kit to go. I did this because I am providing everybody butterfly cutouts. And guess what? You can actually take the side strips. I'll see if I can get this lined up. So once you do your big butterfly cutout, look at this, you guys. You can take the side strips. I guess it's like this. And on one side, you can get a 3/4 inch strip. And on the other side, a 1/2 inch strip, without cutting into actually any of the cutout. And the other side is so pretty. Look at that. It looks kind of tie-dyed. Well, that's what you can use to layer or to put accents on the inside of your card. So I love that. So it's another way to get a little bit more use out of your 6x6 paper when you're making a big cutout on it. So that's something to keep in mind when you're, using your papers. Let's see here. I am going to just move that camera a little tiny bit. All right, so another sip of coffee and then we'll get rolling with this card. All right, so what are we going to start with? Well, we're going to start by doing a little stamping here. And we're going to use our mini cut and emboss machine. So I'm going to start, I think, by getting this butterfly cut out for you. So let me just grab something. Now I want to show you that these dies are very intricate. So you may want to do this. You can try doing it without this technique, but I will just assure you that it is a lot easier to get all of those little pieces out if you do this little technique. And that is to use just a little bit of wax paper when you're running your die through. So I actually put my die over the top of the wax paper, and then I layer it onto the paper that I want to cut out and make my die with. So I'm going to open up my little mini machine here. And then, of course, I'm going to take the plates that come with it. We've got your base plate. That goes in first. Then there's 2 cut plates, and I only use one of the cut plates for my bottom plate where I do all of my cutting, and I reverse it and flip it quite a bit. So I'm going to put this down, and it will bow. That's natural, but the longer you use it, the more that will straighten out and the less bowy it will be. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your little setup here with your paper, your wax paper, and your butterfly die. You're going to set this on just like so. And then I take the other little plate that comes with the cutter. This is also a cut plate, but again, I don't use it as a cut plate because I like having one plate that doesn't have a lot of cut, that doesn't basically have any cut marks on, so that when I am running it through, I can absolutely make sure that nothing has moved. So once you get it, you can just, once it grabs and it's ready to roll through, put your hand over the top and then just roll it through. And let me get this out of the way here so that we can talk about our cutout. So then the next thing that I do is I do have an old paper pumpkin box here, and then I have the little foam pad that Stampin' Up! Sells, and I also have the attachment for the Take Your Pick tool that will help me roll out all those little pieces that come with that butterfly die cut. So I am just going to take this butterfly die cut, throw it in here. Oh, it's just coming out like super fast. So here's the die cut. I'm going to get that out of the way. Here's the little wax paper thing. Here's this cutout. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my little roller brush, roll right over the top of that butterfly. And it takes out almost all of the pieces just by rolling it. I'm sure you can probably see this. Then what you're going to do is you can take the Take Your Pick tool and you can just finish poking this out. And it's really not that hard. You just go in and you do any more poking that you need to do. And because I know you all know how to do this, I did prepare a couple of these little butterflies in advance so I wouldn't have to use up so much time poking it, because a pretty die like this, I mean, it's just not pretty instantly. You have to work at it just a little bit to get all of those little cutouts just perfect. But boy, there's sure not many. There's sure not. It really cuts well, especially with that little piece of wax paper. In fact, I'm looking at this and I think all the cutouts, oh, there's one right here. They're all done. I'll show you. There really wasn't many left after I used that brush. I don't think I missed any. Yeah, well, I'm going to go ahead and use this. Okay, so I did cut out some in advance just in case it would, you know, I didn't want to sit here and poke out cutouts for however long. All right. Sorry, I had to get another little sip of coffee. Okay, so where are we next? The next thing, oh yes, we're going to do a little stamping, that's right. So, I'm going to set this little scrap aside because I want to talk a little bit about that later. In fact, I have it in the wrong place. I'm going to put it over here. All right, so then I have a scrap of basic white, and this is our inside. No, this is our scrap for stamping our sentiment. I got so many little pieces around here, I'm almost getting mixed up. So I am using the Happy Thoughts sentiment called Thinking of You because it works so perfectly with that tailored tag punch. So I'm just inking this up, and you can use any black ink. I happen to be using Tuxedo black ink just because it was sitting here. So I've got that stamped on one end, and then I'm just going to stamp it on the other end. And then we're going to take the punch, and you always want to use it upside down so you can see exactly where you're punching. Just going to bring it in here, line it up. Look how perfectly that fits into the tailored tag punch. Oh my gosh, I just love it. So you're going to punch one and then punch the other. And I'm making 2 cards because I do 2 giveaways. So when I do get to that point where I'm doing the giveaway, which this time around, I don't know, it might be, I think what I'm going to do is 2 yards of that sparkle ribbon when I mail out the card. So here are the pretty punch outs. Then what I think we're going to do next is I'm going to layer these punch outs. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. So you can have a little scrap piece of basic black paper, or if you're really trying to conserve your paper, I want to give you a little tip. You can take the layering piece that you're going to have in the background of the main panel, and you can do your punch outs from there, and there's really no waste. So that's what we're going to do today. It's this background panel, just for your information, is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So I'm going to move that up here because we're not quite ready to use that panel yet, but I'm just going to take my punch out from our background panels. And there we go. We need 2 of them to do our layering. So I'm going to take this and set this back aside. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to put a little Stampin' Seal on here. I'm going to do the same thing over here because I'm prepping this in advance for layering behind our punch out. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your scissors. Now this is going to make some of you cringe because you don't like getting your scissors anywhere near adhesive. And I am absolutely going to put it right over the top of this adhesive. But I like doing this better than trying to put adhesive on after I've cut it in half. And the reason is because once I've cut it in half, the problem I run into is then I get the adhesive too close to these outer edges, and then I'm sitting there trying to get that adhesive off after the punch out has already been put together, and that's not good. So I'm doing it this way, and it's kind of a little behind the scenes tip that I do often when I'm in my stamping room by myself, but I've never actually shared this on video before, so today's a first for that. So then what I do is I just take my finger, I hold the very pointy part, and I just bring it in, and we are going to go for a very skinny look because you don't need too much here. So once you get that layered in, then press it down, and you're going to do the exact same thing with this little panel. So again, just hold your finger right at the very, very pointy tip. Put that in there so that everything is nice and even. And then once it looks even to you, just press it down. Sometimes it's a little hard for me to do that on camera because I can't get my head right over the top of it to make sure that it's even. But I tell you what, if I do not get this just right, I can always fix it after the video is over. But so far it's looking pretty good. And then we're going to go ahead and do this one here. And that looks terrific. So we have our punch outs ready for the front panel of our card. Now let's bring these panels back in and chit chat about this a minute. So we have a skinny border. So this is 3/4 inches by 5 inches, and that's the designer series paper. It's really hard to cut into this designer series paper because it's so pretty. So on one side we have this beautiful kind of kaleidoscope of color. And then on the other, look at all of these butterflies. Oh, and guess what I learned? I learned from Stampin' Up. I believe it was some video that they did, or I don't know, maybe it was a little blurb that they sent to demonstrators. But did you know that a whole flock of butterflies is called a kaleidoscope? Isn't that cool? So like this is a kaleidoscope of butterflies because it's a whole flock of them, and that's what they call a whole bunch of butterflies, is a kaleidoscope, which I think is just really cool. I had never heard that before, so that was something new to me. So unfortunately, we're going to cover this side up, even though it's so pretty. And I will say that it matches the panel of big butterflies perfectly. These are like the minis of the bigs, and so you can fussy cut these out and use them as little accents on the inside panels of your card when you're using those bigger butterflies on the outside, which is what we're doing in my kit to go, just as an FYI. So what I'm doing is just layering this all up, and I'm using glue here to do so. And on this goes. And there it is. One nice thing about glue is with these skinny, skinny little borders, it's nice to be able to wiggle that into place. There we go. Now let's go ahead. We'll put on our ribbon wrap here. So this again is our black organdy sparkle ribbon. It's so pretty and sparkly. So I'm just going to cut a little bit bigger than my panel, and we'll do a wrap around to the back. There we go. And what you want to do is, I've got my sentiment here, so I'm just gonna figure out where I want this, because I want the sentiment to be pretty close to the bottom. So it looks like my ribbon wrap is going to be about 3/4 inch or so from the bottom. And the reason we need it so close to the bottom is these are fairly good sized butterflies when you put them on here. So you need to give a little breathing room between the butterfly and the cutout. So here we go. So this one is done. We'll do the same thing for this one over here. And we'll just wrap this around. Again, probably about 3/4 inch from the bottom or so. We'll get this on. Again, just using a little bit of Scotch tape to attach that on the back. I'm going to double check this. Yep, that works. All right, then we're going to get some dimensionals. Oh yes, I have to peely today because I ran out of my prepared dimensionals where I don't have to do the peelies. But that's okay. I was thinking of doing a little mini video and just maybe putting that up all separately on YouTube, because I have so many people ask me about how I do my dimensionals. And even though I've shown people before, I didn't have it as a separate video. So sometimes people get frustrated if they can't find it. All right, so here we go. Just set this in. So it's just kind of pretty much even onto the bottom. Then take your butterflies. And I know I have more around here. So there's the one that I did. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. And I am going to use my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm going to use my glue dots. I'm going to pull off a glue dot from my roll of glue dots and just add it to the back of these butterflies. So you'll need 2 glue dots for this card. Well, you could also use multi-purpose liquid glue, but you have to be careful. You don't want to use too much. That is kind of a trick to make sure you don't use too much, because you don't want it spreading out behind the butterfly. So then we're just going to set this on here. Oh, he looks just perfect like that. Do the same thing over here. Just set it on. And the wings just naturally kind of float up. I mean, it looks just phenomenal. All right, so then we have our card base and our inside panel. So let me set these aside for a minute. We'll talk about that. So the inside panel is 4 by 5 1/4. And we just have these little 1/2 inch strips to coordinate with the outside of our cards. So to put this on, again, I'm going to just throw some multi-purpose liquid glue here onto the bottom. And then we'll drop our strips right over the top, wiggle them into place. And then we'll trim that excess off. And that looks good. Then grab your scissors and just trim that excess. And that's what's going to go on the inside panel of our cards. So let's get our cards out here. So the first one, you know, it's always great to have an excuse to use the Magenta Madness. And this is Magenta Madness. It's really bright and pink. Whoops, I have the wrong size on here. Uh-oh, how did I do that? I must have been sleeping when I put this together. So let me see if I have, oh, I see the correct one. It's over there. Just give me 1 second. Ta-da. Here's the correct sizing. 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. This is Bermuda Bay. Now I know it's on the video. It's not really looking like Bermuda Bay, but it is. And we're going to go ahead and use the bone folder to make that really crease down. Now, I had a customer recently ask me, how do I know which way to fold? Because as you know, there's a dip where you've made the score line. That's called the valley. And then on the other side of the card, there's a mountain. And so that's the high part of the score line. And she was confused which way she should go when she was folding her card. And I have done lots of research on this, and I can say with a surety, you want to fold towards the mountain. So you want the mountain to be in the middle. So here's that mountain part of the fold, and I'm going to flip it like that so that the mountain's in the middle. When you do that, you will have less breakage and a cleaner edge on your scored edge. All right, so we're going to make this one, obviously, the card that uses the pink background paper here. So I'm just going to take some, again, multi-purpose liquid glue. It gives us a little bit of wiggle room. And we're just going to set this right on the top and wiggle it into place. Now, everybody always says that they appreciate that I review that scoring tip because it is so easy to forget. And sometimes we just get these mental blocks. I know I do. I can never remember how to pronounce things. I can have people tell me how to pronounce something like 100 times. A week later, I can't remember how to pronounce it. It's just a block in my brain. So I totally understand when someone says, I can never remember what way to fold my cards. I totally get that because like yours truly has, you know, the same issue with just other things. Okay, so here is the other card that we're making. So we're going to finish this up. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten. We are going to use the Take Your Pick tool one more time to get those pretty gems on. So again, isn't this pretty, you guys? Oh my goodness, I love it. All right, so let's see. We're gonna add this little inside panel. Whoops, would help to take the lid off. There we go. And then we'll set this in here on our Bermuda Bay. Press that down. And then the final step is to take those matte black dots, and we're going to add some really pretty movement to the card, because that's kind of what these embellishments do. They keep the eye moving around the card. So let me find my tool here. And I'm going to use the putty end. I have to get a little more putty out. It's kind of, the putty is pretty. There we go. All right, so we're going to start with the big matte black dot first. And we're going to put this right down here in the bottom left of our sentiment. There we go. Then we're going to take two more. This time we're going to flip it around and use the smaller end. And we'll put one here just above the sentiment, kind of kitty corner, and then one up here. Oh my goodness, that just looks so nice. And so we're going to do the exact same thing. Add one here and then one more. Whoops, he got away on me. We'll add that one up here. There we go. So there are the cards. Here are the ones I did in advance. Aren't they pretty? Oh my goodness. When I line them all up like this, it's just stunning. Get this all set up here. Oh, look at all those hearts coming up on my screen. Thank you, you guys. That is so nice of you. Oh, I just found my little paper. Here it is. So, yeah, I will do a card giveaway. We'll do 2 yards of the sparkly black organdy ribbon. And if you're interested in getting my Butterfly Brilliance kit to go, please visit my blog at stampingtoshare.com. I so appreciate all of you. Have a great day and have a great weekend too. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.